start to a busy USL Championship slate today and a beautiful afternoon in Hamtramck, Michigan as Detroit City FC welcome Indy 11. Two of the top 4 teams in the Eastern Conference going at it, jockeying for position and trying today to clinch playoff spots. Happy to have you with us alongside MLS veteran Ricky Lopez-Espin. I'm Joe Malfa. Here they are, 3rd place Detroit City, 4th place Indy 11. And for Detroit City, they're just coming off a matchup against the team in front of them in the Charleston Battery, a 2-2 draw in the end.
I think you can take some confidence if you are Detroit City. You take the early lead, but you go down once, you go down twice, and you find a way to galvanize the troops and to grind out results. In the mental battle, and the mental side of this game, I think is going to be massive because now you understand you can go into Charleston Battery away from home, one of the best teams in all the Eastern Conference, and find a way to get a result. Danny Dichio and company has to be feeling very motivated and confident playing at home here today.
Tonight's player to watch is brought to you by the Finnish Long Drink, a crisp citrus soda with premium spirits. Please enjoy it responsibly. It's Maxi Rodriguez, and he's responsible for a lot of the attacking success of Detroit City.
He's a playmaker for this Detroit City side. We might see him play a little bit deeper and be part of the build-up phase, but he has the freedom to go and join the attack. Maxi Rodriguez, how quickly can he get in a tempo? How quickly can he get in rhythm? Because he's shown he can be a star for Detroit City.
On the other side for Indy 11, the alarm bells were sounded a bit too early when they had that slump between the U.S. Open Cup quarterfinal and semifinal. They've only lost 1 of their last 7 since that semifinal, and it was a big win on the road last time against Loudoun.
They leaned on experience. They found a way to get a result. It wasn't their best performance through the run of play, but they take all 3 points. If you're Sean McCauley, how do you turn that 3 points on the road midweek at Loudoun into 6 points here in Detroit?
And they really want to get Augie Williams going again. We know what it looks like when he's at his peak.
Complete forward. He can drop down to be part of the build-up phase to bring players into this game. But if you're Sean McCauley, you want him high. You want him playing off the shoulder of this backline for Detroit City. But the question is, especially on the road, what does the service look like into Augie Williams, and how clinical can he be in front of net?
Now, these two teams have more aspirations than just making the playoffs. They both want to host playoff games, make deep runs. But before you can do that, you do have to clinch. And both these teams can clinch today. It's Detroit City FC against Indy 11 coming up next.
Ally helps millions spend smarter and save more for the things that matter most to them. That's why we're the bank that's your ally.
SeatGeek is the ticketing app for fans like the High Five Strangers guy. Game-winning interception. First down. Just a nice, solid tackle. If you're in arm's length, you will be swapping skin with this extrovert. You see, he knows SeatGeek got him a great deal on tickets, so he can focus on what he does best, smacking palms. SeatGeek handles the tickets to sports, concerts, and more, so fans can fan.
Hi, Dave from DTE here. Ooh, this dirty HVAC filter makes your system work a lot harder, and that costs money. But they're really easy to change. First, just check the edge of your current filter to see what size to buy. Then, just insert the new filter with the arrow facing toward the furnace. It's that easy. Energy bill savings. Get more tips on our website.
There's a beer in the D for me and you. From Royal Oak to Jefferson Avenue. Grab a friend and a jersey too and chant. Chant like you give a damn. Now we're talking Detroit, and Strohs is spoken here.
Detroit City FC is presented by Ally. Ally, proud to be the official bank of DCFC. Ally Bank, member FDIC. Fago is proud to be the official pop of DCFC. Brew Detroit, the official craft beer of Detroit City FC. And Fort Pontchartrain, proud to be the official hotel partner of DCFC. Take a look at the starting lineups tonight for Detroit City FC, presented by Detroit Medical Center, the official healthcare provider of DCFC.
That middle three is going to be crucial for Danny Dicio, Murphy, Rodriguez, and Jope. What does that look like? Murphy might be a little bit deeper, so Jope and Rodriguez have the ability to go and stretch the game. And this back four, Joe, they need to be good at winning the initial duels and staying compact in their structure, keeping everything in front of them.
Indy 11, starting 11, presented by Fort Pontchartrain, proud to be the official wholesale partner of DCFC.
What Sean McCauley has been able to do in terms of the rotation, the fluidity, especially in that front three. Malik Foster plays as dual number 10, so look for him to get on the ball early and often. And then you have Martinez and Augie Williams, the ability to stretch the line, ask a lot of questions of Detroit City, Aiden Quinn and Sumaroro. How good can they be at dictating tempo?
A couple of different faces in the starting 11 for Indy from what they began with in the midweek win over Loudoun. Ready to go? It's Detroit City in the black from left to right. Indy 11 in the red from right to left. Gerald Flores in the green, the referee in charge of this one tonight. Picture perfect day in Hamtramck, and we're underway. Third place Detroit City, fourth place Indy 11. Both can clinch a playoff spot today. We will see how things play out over the 90. Happy to have you with us alongside Ricky Lopez-Espin. I'm Joe Malfa. First 5 minutes are presented by DMC Physical Therapy and Sports Medicine. DMC is proud to be the official healthcare provider of Detroit City FC. Maxi Rodriguez, touched on him in the open. Ricky, they go as he goes in the midfield. Jope tries from distance here, lets it fly, but off target. Those two play off each other so well, Rodriguez and Jope.
And it's interesting, not even a minute in, now Maxi Rodriguez has shifted out to this left-hand side. That pushes Reese Williams a line higher to really pin back Aiden Stanley. Now changing the point of attack. You start on one side of the field, you end on the other with the weak-sided midfielder for Detroit City, which will be Jope. Good action to start this game from the home side.
There was a time this year where it felt like Detroit City was waning and maybe in jeopardy of falling out of the playoff picture. Turned things around. Danny Dicio named USL Championship Coach of the Month in the month of September. Here they are in third place, trying to nail it down. Host a playoff game here at Keyworth after sneaking in last year as the 8th seed, upsetting top overall seed Pittsburgh Riverhounds. They want a taste of a home playoff game of their own, and with this crowd, you cannot blame them. It would be a sight to behold, a playoff game at Keyworth. Picked up by Rodriguez, stumbled over the ball. Nobody around him though, and can take his sweet time. Still with it, waiting. Sneaks it through. Reese Williams, they're calling for it. And Morris plays it through off his line confidently, Hunter Salt.
You already see the areas that Maxi Rodriguez wants to operate in. Right off of the shoulder of Aiden Quinn, between him and Aiden Stanley, but Aiden Stanley cannot step off of his line just with the positioning of Reese Williams. So it's a little bit of a tactical shift for Danny Dicio to start this game to make that line of 5 for Indy 11 to afford Jope and Maxi Rodriguez to get on the ball a little bit more often.
Rodriguez goes down. Aiden Stanley committing the foul. He felt that. Rodriguez took a bit of a dive.
I tend to agree with him. Aiden Stanley seems like he gets on the ball right before Maxi Rodriguez. That midfield battle is going to be really crucial to see which team takes all 3 points here today.
That replay was brought to you by Fago, proud to be the official pop of DCFC. Villanueva out for an Indy throw. Take a look at tonight's injury report brought to you by our osteoporotic rehab partners. Back to you, rehab. Nothing reported on the Detroit City side. A couple of key names on the list here this week for Indy. A very deep roster. And it's been tested at times this year, given their deep Open Cup run, a run that includes a 3-0 victory over Detroit City. So LaRouche hoping for a little bit of revenge in that regard. On the right side, Augie Williams let it through for Logan Neidlinger. Just signed his pro deal this week was on an academy contract all year long up until just a few days ago. In 11 appearances, 5 starts on that academy contract. Now officially a first-team member of Indy 11. Matchup between Augie Williams and Devin Amu-Mensah is going to be a tough one to watch all day. Here they go again. Augie Williams tries to stick his foot in and keep the attack alive.
And Indy 11 is one of, if not the only team in all of USL Championships that have 2 players high, that play with 2 strikers, Douglas Martinez and Augie Williams, versus this back line for Detroit City. So you have to think that is why Danny Dichio elected to go with a back 4. We've seen Detroit City play with back 3s, but how good can they be at passing players off? And as one challenges for the initial ball, the other one needs to provide coverage underneath.
Switch to the field. Job. Amu-Mensah. A very slow start for Indy in that midweek 1-0 win over Loudoun. Chalk that up to maybe just the match congestion now. That's starting to hit Indy once again. Had to go Saturday, Tuesday this past week. The Tuesday-Saturday turnaround. In a hostile environment as well. See if Indy could start better and more quickly than they did in that midweek victory. Villanueva. And the offside flag up. Tried that quick throw-in routine. Just gave it away carelessly. These two teams can both clinch a playoff spot today in a number of different ways. The easiest path forward for them, if you're Detroit City FC, win or tie. That's it. If you don't win or tie, you could still get in with Hartford, Loudoun, or North Carolina dropping points, or Birmingham losing. For Indy, it has to be a win today. If it's a draw, they need some help. There is a third scenario in which they can clinch officially today, Indy, with a loss, but it's probably more complicated than is worth offering up. It exists, that possibility, but it's very minuscule. Need a lot of boxes to be checked. So we'll pretend like it doesn't exist until we need to actually acknowledge it. So for the simplest terms, Detroit City win or draw, Indy win, period. After that, we'll see how the 7 o'clock games and beyond impact things, but as far as the 90 minutes here, win or draw for Detroit City, win for Indy, and that would clinch for either of these teams.
And that's going to be the message for Danny Dichio and Sean McCauley to the respective clubs. Don't worry about anything else beyond these white lines here. Take care of business, take all 3 points, and then let the rest play itself out.
Good ball in, looking for Augie Williams. The volley is blasted by Brem Sumaoro. Wanted a corner, but it's out for a goal kick.
Especially with how Indy plays with 2 wingbacks, expect a lot of service from deep lying positions on the wide parts of the field. So now Aiden Quinn and Sumaroro, when they join the attack to win that second ball, going to be really important.
And again, as far as clinching a postseason berth, that's not really going to be a question for either of these two teams. A whole laundry list of things would need to happen over the next couple of weeks. Doomsday scenario for either of these teams to miss the playoffs, but talking about a 3rd place Detroit City, a 4th place Indy 11, both want to host playoff games and finish as highly as you can. You avoid Charleston and Louisville as long as you can. Top 2 teams, although Detroit has the confidence of just going toe-to-toe with Charleston last match. The higher you finish, the better, and most importantly, more than anything else, is that path having home playoff games. Just ask Charleston last year. They didn't finish as the top team in the conference, but chips started falling in line, and Charleston ended up hosting the USL Championship final.
And also think that both of these managers are looking at this match maybe as a bit of a measuring stick. Like, yes, you were very vocal that you want to play at home once the playoffs come around the corner. So these are the types of games that you have to find a way to get any sort of result.
Williams for Michael Bryant. Stephen Carroll. Carroll looking in behind. Good service to Villanueva. Tried to drop it back in. Direct so far. This Detroit City side. Testing that back line of Indy. Trying to smoothly roll into the playoffs, both these teams today.
What an atmosphere here in Keyworth. One of the best in all of USL Championship.
Well, Maxi Rodriguez trying to shadow Aiden Stanley in the shadows down on this near sideline. Next 5 minutes are brought to you by Wayne State University, the exclusive higher education partner of Detroit City Football Club. Jope plays out of it to Williams. Can't wait to get Elvis Amo involved as much as they can. There he is, top of the line, testing this back line of Indy, and neither player went for the ball there. Miscommunication left Ben Morris with his arms outstretched, wondering what went wrong.
It's a fantastic read from Neidlinger as well. Just doing just enough to throw off Amu Mensah. I do think that's going to be really important for the success for Detroit City. You start on one side of the field, you shift Indy to this near side, and then quickly change your point of attack to make them cover a lot of ground. So the responsibility on Aiden Stanley and Neidlinger, the ability to pick and choose when to stay compact with their back line, but also, much like that, to try to read the play and pick out passes.
Again, looking in behind for Amo. Morris tries to collect the loose ball and did. Shout for a handball. It was unanswered. Feels like Detroit City is the first to every second ball so far, a dozen minutes in.
Good step there from Aiden Quinn.
Getting him back from injury has really helped transform this Indy midfield. It's no accident. Part of it, of course, this uptick in the performances and the results from Indy is getting out of Open Cup and how much that tested them. But it's no accident that the uptick in results has coincided with the return of Aiden Quinn.
Just gives you experience, he gives you quality, and that sense of security centrally. So much success in USL Championship throughout his career.
Villanueva drops it back in, and they'll recycle the possession again. James Murphy back to Amu Mensah, up to Villanueva, wanted to go quickly. Give and go with Jope, cut out by Indy. Villanueva. Fronted by Neidlinger. Villanueva looking to the back post, touched away by Solt. He wasn't sure if that one was going to trouble the goal or not, and he almost slapped it right into the path of Amo.
Not dealt with enough confidence from Solt. Always tricky for a goalkeeper. Villanueva was looking to crosses, but just mishits it. Almost finds that back post. But we've said it so many times in this season, Joe. As a goalkeeper, if you do get an action on this ball, the ball needs to be parried away from traffic. Elvis Amo makes a really clever run, looping to that back post and almost gets on the end of it.
Seems like they're really trying to exploit that matchup down this far sideline of Villanueva against Neidlinger. Really testing the teenager. Amo trying to sneak it through. This one will be given as a handball. Free kick, edge of the area here for Detroit City, and they have a couple of specialists who could be standing over this one.
But it just starts with the movement off the ball from Maxi Rodriguez. We talked about him having the freedom to go and just search the game. Right side of your screen, he's going to arrive in late, and look how quickly he continues his run. Every single player at Indy 11 turns around, gets caught ball watching, and it's the left arm of Sumororo that gets him in trouble. Give credit to Elvis Mensah as well. Trying to play it back into Maxi, the extension of the arm gets him in trouble, and a really dangerous set piece for Detroit City.
15 minutes in, 75% of the possession goes Detroit City's way. We're not necessarily used to seeing them with that massive of a possession advantage. They're taking it to Indy in the early going. Nothing to show for it, though, in terms of dangerous opportunities, but that could change here on this free kick. Chip toward the crossbar, and it's off the bar. Try from distance again, it's parried away by Hunter Solt.
Fantastic strike here from Villanueva. Elects to go up and over the bar. Awkwardly from Solt. I think he jumps a bit too early, but as this ball comes back across, it's Murphy, has eyes for that far post, and it's a fantastic secondary change, or save, excuse me, from Solt.
Villanueva from the corner, and before anything can come of it, foul goes against Detroit City. Mensah unhappy. There was some contact in there, but we've seen players play through more.
It's the third time, Joe, that we've seen Solt not really confident in his decision making. First, it's a ball from Villanueva, then it's that save from the set piece. So if you're Danny Dicchio, you're telling your side to continue to test him.
Good pressure again from Detroit City. Rodriguez, Amo, it's Morris streaking through. Amo rolls into the space, finds Reese Williams. There goes Malik Foster, charging ahead, chased down by Murphy. Foster waited too long. Cavalry arrives for Detroit City, and Murphy wins it cleanly. Brilliantly done. One of the unsung heroes, more underrated players as far as what they mean to their team around the league. James Murphy in the middle of this midfield.
Does all the hard work to pick the pocket of Malik Foster, but it's also the quality that comes after it. Driven ball into the path of Joe. Breaks two lines from Indy 11. Fantastic work from James Murphy. A little bit of a glimpse of what Sean McCauley wants from Malik Foster, coming from a deeper position underneath Augie Williams and Douglas Martinez. And you have to think, Joe, you mentioned it, for Indy 11, playing Saturday, playing Tuesday, now again here on this Saturday, they're going to be a little bit more pragmatic, a little bit deeper in their defensive structure, and try to make it more transitional. That is why we see Detroit City on the ball very often throughout this first 19 minutes here.
Like the 2025 Chas Charity Kit, want to own a match-worn one from the match you're currently tuned into? Scan the QR code on your screen now to make your bid and support a great cause in the Chas Center.
Sumororo has been involved. And a lot throughout this first 20 minutes. It's about his 4th foul that he's been involved in.
I think they're discussing their Halloween costumes.
Do you have yours planned?
I do. Secret, though.
Secret?
Secret.
Secrets don't make friends, Joe.
This portion of the match brought to you by DTE Energy. DTE recommends installing carbon monoxide detectors in your home and business today. Full crowd here at Keyword Stadium. Getting closer and closer to perhaps clinching a home playoff game. The 3rd place Detroit City FC. 3 shots, 2 on target already. 20th minute, another corner. Villanueva to trigger. Goes short with it. Drawing out the defense. Morris clips it in, not his best.
Watch out.
A lot of speed to burn on this Indy side when they get out on the counter. Foster looking for Martinez. He's a little cozier here. Dimensions of Keyworth. I wonder if that at all impacts some instances, some moments like that for Indy.
But if you're Malik Foster, you're running towards Douglas Martinez. You want to angle your run a bit more central. So now you make Reese Williams make a decision. Does he engage with the ball? Does he stay like for like with Douglas Martinez? You play the ball out in front of him. Reese Williams does really well just to cut the angle off and let the ball walk over the sideline.
It's been a similar start to this one for Indy that we saw in the midweek. You and I were on the call for that one against Loudoun, where they didn't have a lot going on early. They started to open things up late in the first half, and really, it never really felt like a goal was coming for them. They had that brilliant individual moment from James Musa, that sort of overhead rainbow on the corner, and that was it. I wonder again if the schedule congestion is just starting to get to Indy, take its toll a bit. The calendar's been interesting this year, where because of the Open Cup run, they had that to deal with, and then because of the Open Cup run, certain other games got rescheduled where maybe it was supposed to be a period of Saturday that turned into Saturday, midweek Saturday. So they've had ebbs and flows to their schedule this year where you have some time off, you can rest, and then it's go, go, go. Another attack brewing here for Detroit City, put right onto Salt.
But it's fantastic interchange. First from Maxi Rodriguez to have his head up the whole way. Amo drops in, he pulls out. Aiden Quinn with them, so that allows Job to make a run that breaks a line. That push and pull mentality, especially on that front line, is so important for the success.
All the way back for Nate Steinwasser. I've not had to call his name yet today. Detroit City have been going back and forth this year between Steinwasser and Saldana. Both with good numbers. Team has performed well results-wise with both. I haven't really gotten a straight answer out of Danny Dicchio all year as far as what goes into the decision-making process between the two. It's very competitive in training. Sometimes when you think you've got it figured out that Saldana's had a couple of good results in a row or vice versa, then the switch happens. So you can't really make heads or tails of it, but either way, performance has been largely the same despite whoever is in goal. Job, Morris, Amo. Trying to play in these tight quarters at the edge of the area, Detroit City, but Indy has it snuffed out.
And they're having a really difficult time dealing with the pressure for Detroit City, specifically the repress. Once they lose the ball, how quickly can they recover it? So that first pass for the visiting side, really important to try to break through into the attacking phase of the game.
Here's Murphy. 28th start of the season for James Murphy. Coming over from Monterey Bay in the offseason. It's always interesting in retrospect. You look at how certain teams are performing and relative to players they lost off their roster. What's Monterey Bay's biggest issue been all year? It's missing that James Murphy in the midfield. And what's been one of Detroit City's biggest strengths this year? It's been having James Murphy in the midfield. Sometimes you don't realize it until a player like that changes teams exactly how much they mean.
Very different players, but you can have the argument in terms of the profile of him and Aiden Quinn for Indy 11. Do a lot of the dirty work, do not get the credit that they probably deserve. Cover every single blade of grass on the field, connect the back to front from side to side, keeps the ball moving. Been a fantastic acquisition for Detroit City this season.
Dangerous one played back for Hunter Salt. This portion of tonight's match is brought to you by Metro Detroit Chevy Dealers. Your Metro Detroit Chevy Dealers are proud to be the premier sponsor of DCFC. Back for Amu Mensah. It is almost 80% the possession for Detroit City. I don't know if we've seen a game this lopsided that hasn't involved Miami FC so far in 2024. Floated to the far side, settled by Williams, but a heavy touch and out for a goal kick. This is not typical of Indy to sit back in this way.
That's what I think, because the congestion, like you continue to mention, for Indy 11, so many games, the travel, you throw in that as well. How do you keep your energy? Look like very difficult for Indy 11. Just look at the possession, 34%, only one shot in 10 final third entries versus 18 for Detroit City. Tells you the story right there, all one-way traffic for the home side. The longer that this stays 0-0 for Sean McCauley, the better. But now it just takes one single play, one special moment, and you look at the players on the bench that do have the quality to produce that little bit of individual brilliance for the visiting side.
Taking a step further, though, from those stats we just showed you, Indy has 5 touches in the 18-yard box of Detroit City. Detroit City only has 3 in Indy's box. So despite all of that, Indy has pretty much set up a force field around their 18 so far defensively. Ofemo. Musa, the goal scorer from the victory on Tuesday for Indy. Trying to gather some of their own possession now. Passes just haven't felt or looked crisp for Indy 11. Given away here at the back by Indy. Morris chipping, looking for Amo. Flicked out wide for Williams. Williams in swinger. Again, Williams volleys it across. Poor clearance effort falls to Rodriguez. Maxi Rodriguez, not the player you want to tee up in a situation like that. But Rodriguez cannot find target.
I think it's a second touch for Max Rodriguez that needs to be a little bit cleaner. The first one, he recovers, gets his hips facing the goal. But the second one, now if that is flat on the ground, you have a better opportunity to get a cleaner strike at it. Watch as this ball just pops up right here. Now it's a really difficult technique to get your shoulders over the ball to hit through it. That's why it goes up and over the crossbar.
You can check out all the exciting postseason action as the USL playoffs presented by Terminix kick off in November. Top teams will battle out for the ultimate prize. Go to USLChampionship.com for all the latest playoff information. I feel like we say this every match day now in the league as we're into October, but just every match on the calendar today means something to at least one of the teams in a very big way. This one here for both these teams could be the clincher to officially make the playoffs. For Detroit City, it's a win or a draw that'll get it done today. For Indy, it's just a win. They both have other avenues based on other results, but as far as the match being played here between these lines in these 90 minutes, Indy win or Detroit City win or draw would clinch it for these respective sides. Third place Detroit City, fourth place Indy, neither in any sort of danger of falling out. Just a matter of when they officially clinch. Is it today? Is it next week? And a matter of how high they finish in the standings. Steinwasser was upset by something that got him all the way over to talking to the assistant referee. And our referee, Gerald Flores, is going to come over and have a chat as well. Foster the concern right now for Indy. Still this discussion going on between Flores and the assistant referee. Unsure what it was about. Happened away from the play. Whatever it was, it got Nate Steinwasser all riled up. He's out there again to have a chat now with the official.
Bit confused what Nate Steinwasser's arguing with. Sean McCauley having a conversation with Augie Williams. Gerald Flores actually brought Augie Williams and Stephen Carroll together. I think it was Augie Williams that is the one who fouled Stephen Carroll when the ball was away. Very physical battle that we have between Stephen Carroll, like you said, Devin Amu-Mensah in there as well. Lucas Martinez will get involved, as well as this man, Malik Foster.
Foster's right back onto the field. Picked up mid-year from Colorado Springs. 5 goals, 5 assists this year between Indy and the Switchbacks. Trying long again for Amo. Can't really figure out Detroit City today. They've had a few spells, Ricky, where they try that direct ball, yet they also have 70% possession. They're showing that balanced look, but not really committing to either.
They've been at their best when they play in between the lines. It's a nice little action here.
Neidlinger. Lucas Martinez drops it back for O'Brien. Here's Aiden Quinn. They haven't had him on the ball nearly enough in the 11. Be as effective as he can be. Neidlinger trying to find a way through. He lays it off. Sumaoro. And Stanley drops it back for Malik Foster. Lost in the shadows. Amo wants it, fed through, foot race, ricochets off of Amo. Clean tackle by Ofemu.
Much needed from Ofemu as well. Does a really nice job of reading the play. I think this is the type of game that Indy wants a little bit more than Detroit City. Turning their defense into offense extremely quick, trying to find Augie Williams and Douglas Martinez making those vertical runs. Going back to your point about Detroit City, Joe, I do think they've been their best when James Murphy's on the ball a little bit deeper, and then you allow Maxi Rodriguez and Job just to playing those half pockets off of Aiden Quinn and Sumo Oro. Ben Morris has come a little bit central as well. How do you unbalance? Because look at the center of the field right now, right around the center referee. That is the area that you want Max Rodriguez to be operating in.
Touches it through for Joe, barrels into defender, but it's a foul against Indy. Maybe a card as well for Sumo Oro.
Aiden Quinn and Sumo Oro having a really difficult time understanding who's going to provide the security blanket in front of that back foot. And that's exactly what Amumenta is arguing. It's about the 5th foul that Sumo Oro has been involved in. Comes in late. Max Rodriguez makes the most of it. He knows the ball's gone. He actually jumps in to the Indy 11 player, creates a contact, and goes down. But you cannot leave your single pivot that exposed for Indy 11. That's something that Sean McCauley needs to get right.
Portion of the match is brought to you by Strategic Staffing Solutions, people-powered, customer-centered community champions. Murphy and Villanueva stand over it. It's interesting. I initially thought the foul would go against Maxi for initiating the contact. You initially next to me signaled that it should have been a yellow on Sumo Oro, so we were on complete opposite ends of that one. But it's a free kick for Detroit City, scooped in by Murphy. Not a bad ball, and that could have been an own goal. Detroit City is clamoring for a pass back. There was no intention of that one going back to Salt, and danger avoided for Indy.
Good turn. That's a problem with this Indy 11 side through 36 minutes. They're building out in a back three. You allow Aiden Stanley and Neidlinger as well to join the attack, but there's just no real movement, no connective player that plays into the pocket. Everything has been route one for Augie Williams and Douglas Martinez to go and fight for. Malik Foster has gotten involved a little bit more, but you need a pocket presence. Someone that can break through the pressure.
Now it seems like we're going to have our first card. Williams down, holding his right leg. Williams still slow to his feet.
Seems like it's James Murphy that comes across. The right leg catches. Augie Williams catches the left ankle of James Murphy. Bit of confusion. See what Gerald Flores is actually calling here.
It's Ben Murphy who picks up the yellow card for Detroit City. Murphy still hot about it. Free kick for Indy. I'm trying to say that it was Williams who got there first, initiated the contact. Free kick nonetheless, and Detroit City deals well with it. And Murphy still showing a mark on his leg somewhere from that last challenge. You saw it on the replay. They both really arrived at the same time almost, and it appeared as if Augie Williams got his studs on the leg of Murphy, but also Murphy's leg was there because he was coming in rash. It's one of those, again, that you could see going either way, but Murphy called for the foul and the yellow.
I have a little bit of an issue with the yellow card. Call a foul, yes, fine. No problem with that. It can go either way. But to give a player a yellow through that action, this one's a bit of a head scratcher.
Top from Morris. Nobody really close to him, and James Musa not happy about it. He's having words right now with O'Brien and Alfamo. Get that cleaned up. Needlessly conceding a corner here. You mentioned, Ricky, this in the 11 side having trouble in the pockets moments ago. It was interesting that we didn't see either Cam Lindley or Jack Blake in the starting 11 today for Indy. Those are the players who typically are in that spot and feeding the likes of Foster, Williams, and Martinez. So we'll see if Sean McCauley goes to his bench in the second half and how early he maybe does. Now Murphy, the in-swinger, headed away by Alfamo. Villanueva. Body still forward for a secondary service. Again, it's Indy holding strong. Williams pressuring. Williams does well to win it. Hit over the top, hoping for a run by Foster. Steinwasser is out on an adventure here and could never cleanly handle it. Just sends it up off the facade of the stadium and back down onto the field. Not a lot of room on these sidelines between the line and the fence. Stanley trying to gain as much space as he can for this throw. Just now realizing where exactly the line is, I believe. It's not that faded one in front of you. It's the bright white one that you're standing right next to, buddy. He's just trying to get as much space as he can. Does not like how little space he has to run up here. He's still examining which line it is.
Yet again, Augie Williams and Devin Amumenta going back and forth, jawing at one another.
What's the % chance that we get through this entire match without at least one of those two picking up a yellow card?
0.
0? I was going to at least give them the benefit of the doubt of like 5.
And both of those players play 90 minutes. One of them is getting a yellow card.
All right. And Stanley, after realizing he had not much space for a long run-up throw, goes short, gets it back now, provides a really dangerous service across. Maybe that was the better option all along anyway. Instead of a long throw, get it back to your one of the left foot. Foster weaving through, still with an opportunity, has it blocked. Recovered by Sumaoro. Steinwasser tried to keep it in. Took a deflection, and it's going to be a corner.
Magic here from Malik Foster. You can't teach that. That's just pure individual brilliance. Not once, but twice to go up and over Villanueva and then through the legs of Devin Amumenta. Fantastic individual run. And set pieces really crucial for Indy 11, not creating through the run of play. So Aiden Quinn putting this ball in a dangerous area, asking someone to get on the end of it.
Quinn with the backspin. Lofts it across. Indy gaining a foothold here late in this first half. Neidlinger was playing with fire there, waiting for the pressure. This portion of the match is brought to you by Ally. Ally is proud to be the official bank of Detroit City FC. Learn more at ally.com. Ally Bank, member FDIC. Day where the Detroit Tigers fall to the Cleveland Guardians in Game 5 of the ALDS. Can these players for Detroit City FC provide a victory for the city? Over the top and behind. Flag stays down. Contact there. And play on.
It's about the second time now. Reese Williams, really clever. Just plays off the shoulder of Aiden Stanley between him and James Musa. There's no rotation from Musa whatsoever. Notice how Reese Williams takes that touch towards goal. And Stanley does just enough in the end to throw off the Detroit City player. Nothing in that whatsoever. Fantastic recovery from Aiden Stanley.
Stoppage time is brought to you by Brew Detroit, the official craft beer of Detroit City FC. 3 minutes tacked on. Something if Indy can steal a goal late in this first half, the way the first 45 have gone. Been the aggressors final 10 minutes or so of this first half. There's Detroit City looking for a counter of their own, orchestrated by Morris. Still Ben Morris the whole way. His shot took a deflection. Amo. Bryant frustrated out on this near side. Been gesturing and barking out. Far side. A lot of the attack has come down this left side for Detroit City. I wonder if it's just a case of Michael Bryant trying to remind everybody, hey, I'm over here too. Hey, look at him on the bottom of your screen, screaming for it. Acres of space, finally gets it. Bryant plays a great ball in. Maybe they should go his way a little bit more often. And Amo, look out, crashing into the end board.
Just needs to be a tad bit quicker for Detroit City. If you can play this ball and skip out Stephen Carroll in the process, now you have Michael Bryant with a lot more real estate to take and be more positive with his mentality. Take that first touch into space. Really difficult ball for Amo to deal with, running full head of steam away from goal. His first touch needs to be exquisite. As the halftime whistle blows, I do think if you're Sean McCall, you're probably the happier of the two managers in terms of the scoreline. For Danny Deco, you're doing all of the hard work. Now, how do you clean things up in the final third to have that quality?
And these two teams, both coming into the day, had the ability to clinch a playoff spot at the end of 90. As it stands, Detroit City FC would do so. They can do it with just a draw. Indy would need to come away with a victory here today to clinch before we get into our later matches. Halftime is presented by Stroh's, because Stroh's is spoken here. Scoreless between Detroit City and Indy 11.
SeatGeek is the ticketing app for fans like the High Five Strangers guy. Game-winning interception. First down. Just a nice, solid tackle. If you're in arm's length, you will be swapping skin with this extrovert. You see, he knows SeatGeek got him a great deal on tickets, so he can focus on what he does best, smacking palms. SeatGeek handles the tickets to sports, concerts, and more, so fans can fan.
Some people are born warriors. Something drives them forward, past any obstacle, towards something bigger. Maybe they weren't born with a silver spoon, but they were born with a purpose. At Wayne State University, we take this drive and turn it into so much more, so they can become warrior strong.
At ChevyDetroit.com.
helps millions spend smarter and save more for the things that matter most to them. That's why we're the bank that's your ally.
'25 Detroit City FC season tickets are now on sale. Feel the adrenaline, embrace the excitement, and be a part of every heart-pounding moment at historic Keyworth Stadium. Experience the best atmosphere in U.S. soccer in 2025. Be a part of the action at Keyworth Stadium by securing your season ticket.
Scoreless at the break between Detroit City FC and Indy 11. Halftime is presented by Stroh's, because Stroh's is spoken here. And the captain, Stephen Carroll, just recently committed to his future with DCFC through 2027. Hear what went into signing his new deal in this weekend's halftime feature.
Oh, it's off the post and then put in! Detroit City score late! It's the captain, Stephen Carroll!
Murphy, header is in! Did someone personify this Detroit City culture and club any better than Carroll?
To secure my future here and for my family, the stability of having a long-term contract is huge, especially with a newborn at home. Can plan for the future a little bit, and I also just grateful that the club still trusts me in that and offer me this long-term contract to keep playing and possibly see out in a new stadium. When the club came back to me with the offer sheet, and kind of made up my mind there and then that this is probably where I'm going to be for the next couple of years, and it was after that, then it was just excitement after to get this going, get this signed and get it over the line, and it was a great moment. As soon as I joined DCFC, I had my now wife, my girlfriend back then, but we've taken it stride by stride. DCFC has made huge changes every year, and I've made huge changes in my personal life every year by, getting married, having a house, dogs, kids now, and same with DCFC. It was NPSL to NISA struggles to COVID to USL Championship, and now competing at the top of the USL Championship, which it's great to be alongside them and have such a huge family support in this club. And like I said, it's not just about the on the field stuff, it's how they make you feel off the field. And Tiffany and Trev and Sean, ownerships, and Danny and everyone, they just look after everyone as if it's their own family. So going through life like that and growing up at the same pace with DCFC, it's been brilliant. It's great when they do sit you down and pen comes to paper and you see what they think of you and what they value as, and they have my best interests at heart and my family best interests at heart. So I trust them with anything in life now. So it was just a great feeling just to actually get it done.
Is it somebody's birthday? Dad, come watch us hit this ugly piñata. Dad!
When Hornets show up, so do we. Terminix it.
New flavors. The same traditions. Be the guest of honor. Add more flavor to your parties. El Jimador. Spiked Bebidas.
Welcome to Do or Die. Welcome to stories that give meaning to it all. The juggernaut chasing history. The hero hoping for a Hollywood ending. The upstart determined to make the most of its shot at glory. Welcome to second guessing everything. Every coach's decision, every referee's call, every pass, shot, tackle, save. Because you know it all means more now. Welcome to the playoffs.
When mosquitoes show up, so do we. Terminix it.
Yeah, trick. I said what I said. I'd rather be famous instead.
At the Detroit Medical Center, we shortened the average time in our ER by almost 1 hour, the fastest in Metro Detroit. That's nearly 60 minutes back to an expecting mother, an athlete with an injury, a child who took a tumble, and to a heart that needs a little TLC. The 6 ERs of the Detroit Medical Center. Find a location closer to you. dmc.org/FAST-ER.
Halftime brought to you by Stroh's, because Stroh's is spoken here. Not much spoken by way of either attack so far in the first half. Quiet between Detroit City FC and Indy 11. Still scoreless, only 3 combined shots on target. We'll refocus back on this one in just a moment, but a broader look at the live playoff bracket right now in USL Championship. More and more teams starting to put a letter next to their name. You've got 4 teams clinched in the West. You've got 2 teams only clinched right now in the East, but both Indy and Detroit City could clinch today. You could pick really any of these matchups, Ricky, I think, and there's going to be some intrigue, but pick one from each conference that stick out to you the most.
Tampa Bay Rowdies have to go to Indy 11 in that game. If the playoffs started right now, I think that one has a bit of intrigue. Detroit City and Rhode Island. I know that's 2, Joe, so I broke your rule. But for the West, I think these teams just played. New Mexico and Phoenix Rising. Phoenix Rising taking really surprising all 3 points. I think that one I circle in the West.
Phoenix just beat New Mexico, so that would be interesting if that was the 1-8 here tomorrow. And we've got plenty of matchups coming your way later today. That Colorado Springs San Antonio matchup means a lot at both the playoff line in the West and for seeding purposes in the West. Louisville Tampa should be interesting as well. Louisville's going to get to hoist their Players Shield.
And then also you have Bob Lilly welcoming Charleston Battery, the game of black and yellow. Obviously, Pittsburgh Riverhounds do not have the luxury of dropping any more points, especially at home. That one is going to be interesting.
Plenty to choose from as the day goes along. And the nightcap as well. You've got Oakland and Phoenix, that one massive at the playoff line in the Western Conference. 2 more coming your way tomorrow. Rhode Island Loudoun, massive at the playoff line in the Eastern Conference. It feels like every single game has that sort of intrigue, and there's not much separating a lot of these teams.
It's exactly what you want for a neutral. Every single game that matters going down to decision day, which is right around the corner at USL Championship.
We are just 2 weeks away from that now. Louisville, again, Players Shield winners. New Mexico, kick-out cancer initiative. You can head to their website for that auction. And Vegas, they clinched a spot for the first time. Loudoun trying to do that as well. They're getting close. It's going to be a big one for them.
Ryan Martin, what he's been able to do with Loudoun United. They dropped a result against Indy 11 this week, but Dennis Sanchez has been fantastic with Las Vegas Lights.
We'll see if either Detroit City FC or Indy 11 will officially punch that playoff ticket at the end of 90 minutes. One of them will, no matter what. We'll walk you through it all in the second half. It's on the way.
SeatGeek is the ticketing app for fans like the High Five Strangers guy. Game-winning interception. First down. Just a nice, solid tackle. If you're in arm's length, you will be swapping skin with this extrovert. You see, he knows SeatGeek got him a great deal on tickets, so he can focus on what he does best, smacking palms. SeatGeek handles the tickets to sports, concerts, and more, so fans can fan.
2025 Detroit City FC season tickets are now on sale. Feel the adrenaline, embrace the excitement, and be a part of every heart-pounding moment at historic Keyworth Stadium. Experience the best atmosphere in U.S. soccer in 2025. Be a part of the action at Keyworth Stadium by securing your season ticket.
With Chevy trucks, be ready for adventure. Employees with a current eligible lease can get this Silverado for around $319 a month. Chevy drives the Motor City. Visit ChevyDetroit.com.
Ready to go in half number 2. Players and officials making their way back out onto the field. That brings an end to the Stroh's halftime report. Scoreless between Detroit City and Indy 11. Take a look at those highlights from half number 1. Ricky, a lot of the ball and territory was controlled by Detroit City, but Indy on the counter had a couple of their own looks as well.
We talked about Detroit City being their best when they play centrally. They combine. They have a lot of off-the-ball movement. Fantastic little strike here from Villanueva, but awkwardly from Hunter Schultz, not once but twice. That's a fantastic good second save from the goalkeeper. But that was probably the best action that we saw for Detroit City, the most dangerous action for the home side, because they had a lot of the ball. But now what do you do with that in this next 45? Going to be a big talking point.
We'll see if Indy sort of changes the way they play as well. We're not used to seeing them sit back this much. We're not used to seeing Detroit City possess this much. So it's been an interesting first 45 to say the least. 67% possession for Detroit City.
Now, if you are Sean McCauley, do you dip into your bench? Who do you bring in? You look at a Cam Lindley that will give you a little bit more structure centrally. Jack Blake can play in between the lines as a pocket presence. So it's going to be interesting to see what Indy 11, the tactical changes they do. And for Detroit City and Danny Dico, you need to be more ruthless in the final third. You did everything right getting yourself into that final third. But now what does the composure and the quality look like in the second half?
Detroit City FC with a win or a draw would go ahead and officially clinch a playoff spot today. Indy need to win. Now both these teams with a loss or other results can clinch later, depending on how the results shake out in the 7 o'clock hour, mainly here in USL Championship. But as it pertains to this specific matchup, Detroit City clinches a spot with a win or draw. Indy needs a win. Indy left to right in the red, Detroit City right to left in the black. And away we go in half number 2. Glad to have you with us this afternoon alongside MLS veteran Ricky Lopez-Espin. I'm Joe Malfa. Opening portion of this second half brought to you by SeatGeek, your ticket to great Detroit City FC seats.
Fantastic picture for Detroit City. Now, if you can find Maxi Rodriguez in that half pocket, you can really cause some issues for Indy 11.
I'd be curious to see how the sub patterns look for both these coaches in the late stages here. Morris took his time there and went away from goal instead of toward it. Uncharacteristic of him. But just knowing that these teams, again, are very much safe when it comes to the playoffs, even though they're not clinched yet. Is there one side or the other who's more aggressive and pushing for all 3 points? You'd think it would be Detroit City at home, but they're also the team that is in a better spot to just try to stave off Indy. Neither of these teams are probably catching Charleston in second. Obviously, nobody's catching Louisville in first. They already clinched that. So when it comes down to it, Detroit City is just trying to push back Indy. So maybe Detroit City is okay with a draw, even though they'd be the more likely of the two sides at home to go for it. Very interesting what the calculus looks like in this second half from Danny Dico of Detroit City and Sean McCauley of Indy 11.
You also have to throw in that Indy 11 is coming off of a road game at Loudoun as well. So they're going to be a little bit more at home, more defensive minded, because if you can get 4 points this deep into the season on a road trip, that's a successful road trip for Sean McCauley. Watch out here.
Yeah, but if you get 6 points on a road trip, that's different. Josh O'Brien, good to see him back in the starting 11 today. He left injured in the midweek against Loudoun, and he's down now after that tackle. He left injured in that game. We weren't sure if we would see him.
As his ball comes across, just notice how Job continues his action on it. O'Brien makes the most of it, that's for sure, but still a foul.
Replay brought to you by Fago, proud to be the official pop of DCFC. Only yellow card to remember from the first half belongs to James Murphy. on the Detroit City side. Sumahoro came over mid-year here for Indy. He's become a regular starter in the midfield. Signed from York United of the Canadian Premier League, where he spent the last 2 seasons. It's always interesting in this league. Oftentimes, it's those signings in August and early September that pay dividends come the postseason, but on the flip side, you're also talking about the teams that have the most consistency in the starting 11 being the most dangerous team. So which is it, the consistency or the late additions? I guess it depends on the situation. This Indy team has been relying on some of those summer additions more heavily than others, and you can essentially call Aiden Quinn that as well, coming back from injury. Detroit City FC's upcoming schedule brought to you by our osteoporotic rehab partners. Back to you, rehab. They will host Miami FC and visit San Antonio to close things out. I guess you can never be too sure, but figure you're getting 3 in the next one against Miami, and then see what you have to still do on the road against San Antonio in the last one. That will be a difficult one on the road against the San Antonio team that will be fighting for a playoff spot of their own. Played in from Murphy. Bicycle kick to keep it alive and gathered by Solt. Well done by Hamu Mensah. That's a center back who got on his bike and kept that attack alive.
It's one thing to make clear contact with the ball in the acrobatics. It's a completely different thing to put it right where it needs to be. The placement on this is flawless from Hamu Mensah. Give credit to Hunter Solt as well. The traffic oncoming, secure when he comes off of his line. To not have any spillage whatsoever.
If this turns out to be a draw, and Detroit City FC would clinch a playoff spot. With 2 games to go, they'd be 2 points up on Indy. And again, with that Miami match coming next here at home, if that's 3 points the way it probably should be for Detroit, then Indy would no longer be able to catch Detroit City. The only team you'd fear maybe that can hawk you down for Detroit City in 3rd place would be Tampa Bay, who have 2 games in hand and currently sit 4 points back. So they control destiny. But it's looking more and more likely, so long as they don't end up falling today against Indy, it's looking more and more likely that Detroit City FC could be the 3rd seed, could be hosting a playoff game, could be hosting more than 1 playoff game, depending on how things then work out in the first round. All it would take is for either Louisville or Charleston to lose in that first round, get 1 upset, and now you're talking about hosting as Detroit City in round number 2. And you know how it goes, Ricky. Just because we've seen something all year long doesn't mean it's going to be chalk in the first round. It almost feels like a certainty that either Louisville or Charleston would be upset in that first round. Very rare that we'd have a situation where 1, 2, 3 all get through.
Need to be really careful if you are them and Hamu Mensah. Your decision making.
Joe end line, drives it in front. Solt plays it out for a corner.
You do have a lot of the ball, but that does not give you the luxury to be complacent. Fantastic little pick out from Stephen Carroll. One of the underrated parts of his game is the ability to break lines with his passing range. I really love what Danny Dico has done with Jope as well, pushing him a line higher. And now he has the ability to go and express himself. No nonsense from Solt yet again. A really dangerous set piece for the home side. We saw James Murphy elect to go to that near post area, so expect a lot of bodies crashing.
Murphy drops it, center cut. Still in play, Murphy. Cheeky little back heel flick along for Villanueva. He feeds it toward the back post, but over Amu Mensah. Can still keep it alive, Amu Mensah, and does. Devin Amu Mensah end line. Amu Mensah trying to cut it back. The header toward the far post, looping out of play. Out for a goal kick.
Just so clever from Devin Amu Mensah, but as this ball comes back across, notice how Douglas Martinez is cheating. Baiting for this ball to be played negative, turns the corner. And give credit to Douglas Martinez not to have any sort of contact whatsoever. Amu Mensah is looking for it. Maxi Rodriguez tried to catch Solt off of his line. The looping header just goes over that crossbar. Talk about composure. About this back line for Detroit City, not only defending, but on the ball as well. They've shown some class.
Amu Mensah was deked out by Augie Williams there, was expecting the contact, it never came. Still think it's a 0% chance?
Yeah.
All right. Back to our conversation from earlier, you think it's a 0% chance that we get through this game without either Amu Mensah or Augie Williams picking up a yellow. I put it at 5%. I give them a little chance of getting through clean.
If I'm right, you have to tell me your Halloween costume.
We're getting dicier here. Now we've got Amu Mensah having a conversation.
Start to sweat, huh?
Yeah, I didn't agree to that. You just threw it out there. You can watch the USL Championship in Spanish on TUDN, the nation's leading Spanish language sports network. Select matches, including the championship final, will be available in Spanish throughout the rest of the season. Go to uslchampionship.com for the complete USL TV listings. Time is running out to place your bids on a match-worn charity kit. Scan the QR code on your screen now to make your bid on your favorite player's kit and support this year's charity partner, the Chess Center. See a couple of Detroit Tiger hats mixed in the crowd there. Good run they had. It comes to an end today. Lions are cooking. Big one against the Cowboys tomorrow. Some revenge potentially. This Detroit City FC side, top 3 in the Eastern Conference. Good time right now to be a Detroit sports fan. Minus the Pistons, and we're going to have a yellow card coming out here. Douglas Martinez, excuse me, it is Prem Sumaoro who picks it up.
Credit to Michael Bryant to win the initial challenge and to continue with the play. You have to think it is persistent infringement from Sumaoro that sees him in the book, about the 6th foul that he's been involved with.
Can we keep a track?
Yeah.
To be honest, it feels like 6 is almost an underestimation. He has been in the thick of a lot. That's a player he is, physical in the midfield. It's really been interesting seeing the partnership between Sumaoro and Aiden Quinn, where Sumaoro does a lot more of that dirty work and it frees Quinn up to be on the ball, but we haven't really called Quinn's name on the ball today, and maybe that sort of doubles back to why Indy has 2 shots not on target. They just haven't had that distribution from the midfield.
Been doing a lot of defending for Aiden Quinn, covering a lot of the ground and the passing lanes. We haven't really seen Indy 11.
Jope fakes. Murphy. Williams toward the back post, comes all the way through. Hits the corner flag and stayed in. Feels like this game for Indy is screaming for Jack Blake and his insertion in the midfield. See if and when Sean McCauley goes ahead and pushes that button.
Especially coming into Keyworth for Indy 11 and Sean McCauley. You want to get on the ball a little bit more and take the game away from the home side. Get the confidence within the side. Take also the environment out. Be patient in your build-up, but we haven't really seen Indy 11 have any sort of success in getting in any rhythm. Aiden Quinn, like you said, Joe, very quiet in his impact. We really interested to see what Sean McCauley does with coming off of the bench. As you talked about Cam Lindley, he's going to be a little bit deep lying, pulling the strings to get some confidence within, some structure as well. Jack Blake, I think, is the clear-cut player that you need to come on the field to give you a presence to play off the shoulder of James Murphy, especially with him being on a yellow card as well. Can be a cause of concern.
One shot so far in this second half belongs to Detroit City. Not a shot on target. At the hour mark now at Keyworth. Glad to have you with us this afternoon. With Ricky Lopez Espin, I'm Joe Malfa. Third place Detroit City FC, fourth place Indy 11. A win or a draw for Detroit City would officially clinch a playoff spot right here, right now. A win would do the same for Indy. There's a decent probability both of these teams end up clinched at day's end anyway, given all the possible avenues. And probably doesn't matter in the long run anyway, because I don't think there's any way these two teams fall out of the postseason picture the way things stack up. You would have to thread a very, very fine needle to see either of these teams dip out. The question, though, of can they both remain above the line in the top four to host in the first round? Especially Detroit City FC here in this terrific environment at Keyworth. Fortunate to showcase it on national television a couple of times this year. These fans are rowdy. They love this team. They were with them last year when they were on the road, a nice traveling contingent to Pittsburgh, when the Rouge beat the Riverhounds as the 8th seed. Now this year, can they host and be one of the top teams? Can they make a run? Can they find an opener here? It's Maxi Rodriguez going east to west, laying it off. Morris. Up to Williams. Back post. He had an open ammo, but could not get it up and over Hunter Salt.
I think the better decision for Reese Williams is to hit this first time. Because as you take that first touch, now Aiden Stanley has the ability to close down the space. A really difficult technique to get that second touch out of your body, to get your foot wrapped around the ball, to bend it away from Salt. Those little decision makings, those little decisions can be a massive difference when a team is sitting into a mid to low block.
Sumaoro does well to keep that alive. Quinn picks the wrong pass to Neidlinger, but Neidlinger does well to keep it alive for Martinez. Quick and Decisive little touch from Neidlinger, who goes for goal now. It troubles Steinwasser, who's had nothing to do. That is the first shot on target he's faced. And in that moment, he looked like a goalkeeper who has not had anything to do for 63 minutes, but didn't matter in the end. The offside flag did come up on that run in from Martinez.
Been impressed with Neidlinger, the youngster. Really difficult to come play at Keyworth, especially on the wide parts of the field. But he's been really clever at his technical ability, right foot, left foot, and it's not an easy save for Steinwasser as it's dipping when it's approaching you. You can see why. He's already signed to a professional contract.
Select is the official match ball supplier of the USL Championship and many elite leagues throughout Europe. Visit us.select-sport.com for the latest Select product specials and more. Select, the player's choice. Laurent Kisiedu is the next one set to come in, it looks like, for Detroit City.
Either going to be a like for Ben Morris, but also Amo might come in and I'll pop on Ben Morris to be that lone striker.
Will be Amo who comes off.
Scored a fantastic goal down in Charleston. Kisiedu going to be full of confidence, a player that can beat you 1v1 and also through combination play. How quickly can he get up the tempo?
This portion of the match brought to you by Volvo Construction and Alta Equipment Company, where uptime matters. Here's Kisiedu, first involvement. Kisiedu cutting, Kisiedu shooting. That is the type of impact he can have immediately off the bench.
Just so quick with this first step. Sizes up Aiden Stanley, and as he takes this touch horizontally, this ball needs to be bent to that far post. Solta's getting caught cheating. Easy save for the goalkeeper, but Kisiedu picks up his head. He sees how wide open that far part of the goal is.
That substitution was brought to you by CVY. CVY, wear it, feel it, play it, luxury performance wear. Murphy, Morris lays it off, too heavy. Rodriguez keeps it alive. Thought about pulling the trigger instead. Pops it outside. Murphy into space. Murphy cuts it through. Morris goes for goal. It's just wide. That is the best action we've seen today from Detroit City with the quick, incisive passing. And you said it earlier, Ricky, they're at their best when they're playing like that through the lines.
Job has the ability to push wide, to be expansive in nature, but really well done from James Murphy. The pushy issue, everyone thinks he's going to strike it, but it's a reverse ball into Ben Morris. Nearly finds that far post. Has Solt beat. Unable to get his hips around it just enough. Kisses that far post. It's a really difficult technique for an attacking player. You take your touch away from goal to get your body right. And also, he does have Kisiedu making that late trailing run, just roll it into his path, and he has a better body position to really put Salt under some pressure.
A lot of physical play here. Musa standing over Jope, and now Augie Williams comes in. So too do a handful of other players. All started with Musa, who is screaming directly at our ref now. Without the benefit of VAR, it's just going to be he said, and go check with your assistant referees and fourth official if they saw anything different than you did. It's a yellow for Jope and Musa. Seems like that'll be all.
James Musa is livid. A little bit of a kick out on the end of it that catches Musa. At the end, I do think Gerald Flores does the right thing and books both players, Jope and Musa, seeing yellow.
Candidly, I asked you before this one as we were preparing, is there a goal in this game? It felt like it could be one of those deadlocks between these two teams who probably are both happy with a point. You said there'd be one. So just not saying I'm right, you're right, just to give you a glimpse at home, this was kind of what we expected, a very tight one between these two teams, sitting in third and fourth. A point benefits both. It benefits Detroit City a little bit more, but it has gone to form as we expected, tight between these two teams. Will they open it up, though, now with 20 to play and the finish line in sight and maybe 3 points there for the taking? Here's Murphy. He'll try it from distance, and it's just wide. Out for a goal kick, and this portion of the match now brought to you by Salim Dental, the official dentist of Detroit City Football Club. Here comes Jack Blake for Augie Williams. So half of our little friendly wager here as far as would the pairing of Amu Mensah and Augie Williams, would they pick up a yellow before the end of it? Well, half of it's gone now.
Well, I said if they both play 90 minutes.
You did say that, you did, but Amu Mensah's probably going to.
Okay, so he keeps the bet alive. But this is going to change the way that Indy 11 like to play now. Malik Foster pop onto that back line, so look for Jack Blake to play as a trio with Aiden Quinn and Sumororo in the middle of the park. A player that can produce 9 goals, 4 assists on the season. Jack Blake has had a successful career in USL Championship wherever he's been.
Sub was brought to you by CVY. Feel it, play it, luxury performance wear.
You mentioned about what did we expect for this game. I thought there was going to be 1 goal will be the difference, a 0-0 draw or 1-0 win for one of these sides. As you look at Detroit City, especially when they're at home where they're so good, so difficult to break down, they've conceded only 31 times in 2024. In Indy 11, they conceded 45, but I do think Sean McCauley took a little bit to understand the right formation, the right pairings and relationships that he wanted. And as of late, when you go back into a 3-back system, now you have a double pivot and 4 across with Aiden Stanley and Neidlinger, who are the wing backs. They've been difficult to break down. We saw it against Loudoun midweek. Very stout defending, very compact in their lines. And we're seeing that yet again here today.
Kisiedu. Picked up again by Murphy. Mensah, check over the shoulder from Maxi Rodriguez. He's been quieter at times today as well for Detroit City. 9 goals, 5 assists on the season. Blake wins it from Murphy. Musa looking through for Martinez and given away. They've really maintained this possession advantage all day long, Detroit City. Early on, it could be inflated, of course. Not much time has elapsed. Easy to see that possession number move up and down. Still at about 70%. All the different possibilities I think that we saw coming into this game. That was maybe a scenario we didn't expect, was Detroit City seeing this much of the ball. Murphy through for Jope, cuts it back, Jope. They're not allowing any easy passage into the 18. Comes out to Rodriguez, going for goal. That might be how you have to beat Indy today if there's going to be a goal in this one.
You gotta get a really difficult technique for Maxi Rodriguez. You have to swipe down on the ball as you come through it. Exactly what he's signaling, and getting your shoulders over it. But every single time when this Detroit City side breaks through the pressure and they sit right on top of that 18-yard box, it's just a bit too slow. Too many players taking that extra touch. Played into Ben Morris, have players run off of him. That's when you cause Indy 11 the most amount of issues, but also finding the weak-sided midfielder in a more advanced role, which whether it is Jope or Maxi Rodriguez, have been really successful for the home side.
That was the 11th shot there for Detroit City. Only 4 of those have come from inside the 18. Just not giving up that territory in this one. In the 11. Long for Villanueva. I'll settle down for him. But it's out for a goal kick. Indy will finish home against Birmingham and at Tampa Bay, their final 2 matches. And that one on the last day of the season against Tampa Bay could be to decide who's 4, who's 5. Right now it's Indy in 4th, Tampa Bay in 5th. Be remiss if we did not send our best wishes to the Tampa Bay Rowdies and everybody afflicted in that area of Florida with the hurricane. The headquarters down there as well. Saw the report from the Rowdies Twitter page that everybody accounted for, safe and healthy, all family, all friends, members of the team, but obviously thoughts with the community. All the destruction. Rodriguez out wide. He's still down. Took a late knock. Advantage played here by Gerald Flores. Rodriguez slowly getting to a kneeling position now. He continues around him. Kisiedu. Rodriguez switches for Villanueva. Jope. Cuts inside. Abdoulaye Jope with space. Jope going for a goal. Again, you could see where the intentions are. Indy not giving any space in the 18. Gonna have to let it fly if you're Detroit City, but they have not hit target on any of those.
And just the technical ability from Jope has been lacking just a little bit. Does well to skip away. But notice his shoulders. Once he approaches this ball, they're facing the corner flag. And that tells you how off of his balance he is. Once he makes contact, continues to fall away from the goal. And that's why it goes off of the target.
Maxi Rodriguez is going to pick up a yellow card here for dissent. I think that was the most easy dissent that has ever dissented. It was pretty obvious with the reaction from Maxi, and he was going into the book. All 3 of the members of that midfield triangle right now for Detroit City. Rodriguez, Murphy, Jope, all in the book with the yellows.
I'll tell you what, I don't even know if it's a foul on Malik Foster. He has every right to play for that ball. This awkwardly comes through and catches Reese Williams. The ball is around the midsection of Reese Williams.
Conversation still ongoing, and at this point, if you're Maxi Rodriguez, it's already been litigated. You've already got a yellow. Just move on.
And James Murphy.
In the midst of all that, Malik Foster did just sub off, replaced by Cam Lindley. Substitution brought to you by CVY. Wear it, feel it, play it, luxury performance wear. Mensah. Sun setting here in Hamtramck. Sun going down earlier. Crisp, cool feel to the air. It is October. We are close to the postseason, 2 weeks away from the end of the regular season, from Decision Day in USL Championship. Get that postseason going in November. Detroit City sitting in third in the East, Indy 11 in fourth. If this result holds, Detroit City would officially clinch a playoff spot, though it's not really in doubt. Same goes for Indy. It's a question for these two teams. Will they be top four and host the playoff game or not? For Detroit City, they could, pending other results, be on the brink of clinching that next game when they're home against Miami. If they hold on to a point here and pick up all three, as you'd expect at home against Miami, that could be enough to solidify a top four spot for Detroit City. Kisiedu, and it's snared by Sult. Dikio just got out of his seat, a bit more animated now. Walking out some orders, moving some pieces around the chessboard. Still can go to his bench basically as much as he wants. He's only used one sub so far here in the 82nd minute. Wants to bring on Kisiedu. Yazid Matthews as an option. He wants to change something up top. Jessiel Cedeno as well. Or is he content with the way things are at 0-0? And it would clinch a playoff spot if this result holds. And it is Indy trying to track them down still. So you pick up a point, you help run out the clock on the regular season against a team who's trying to chase you down by not giving up 3 to them. Maybe it is just content to see 0-0 if you're Danny Dikio.
Not the right decision yet again. It's really difficult to play a ball from that angle against a low block that Indy's implementing. the weight and the technical ability has to be picture perfect for Maxi Rodriguez. You need to keep the ball circulating from side to side, make that block move. And that's when you can really unbalance him with those types of balls that break lines.
Cassiano had that quick impact. First couple of touches off the bench, but haven't really called his name since. Six to play here at Keyworth. Crowd has not stopped standing, singing. They've been locked in, just waiting for a moment to erupt from Le Rouge. They've been the closer of the two sides to scoring. But even so, the chances both ways have not been the best today. Expected goals, again, just giving you a glimpse at the genuinely dangerous chances created both ways. It's .71 for Detroit City and .12 for Indy 11. In a way, this has felt like a playoff game. How tight it's been, how locked in these teams have been defensively, but sometimes all it takes is one lapse. And now you've got Indy in a terrific spot on this free kick. Maxi Rodriguez already has a yellow. Indy's pleading that he should be picking up a second here. And Jack Blake is one of the best set-piece takers in all of USL Championship.
Silly from Maxi Rodriguez. Tries to be a little bit too cute to pop it over the leg of Aiden Quinn. And as he's backtracking, there's no need to try to make a play on this ball. You have teammates around him. Move your feet. Force him into traffic. You become a little bit of an overzealous as you're trying to recover from your mistake. Really good opportunity for Indy 11 to try to steal 3 points here in the 86th minute. Aiden Quinn, Jack Blake, both players standing over this ball. Like you said, Joe, you have to think it is going to be Jack Blake that elects to go up and over the wall and bend it away from Nate Steinwasser.
From this distance to have four in the wall tells you just how afraid Steinwasser is of knowing of this potential strike of Blake. Quinn is standing over it as well. Indy did take an extra couple of yards setting up the ball. It is Blake, and what a strike that is. Did not miss by much. It had Steinwasser flailing to his post. Blake, once it left his foot, he seemed to think it was going in.
Too much
the
bend
last
on
second.
it. Too much bend on it, but he hits it so well. If that's a yard or two to the right, that's in the back of the net. Has Nate Steinwasser beat. The worst feeling as a goalkeeper when you see a ball a bit late that comes over the wall, bending away from you. Fantastic technical ability from Jack Blake. Just pulls it and closes up his hips a bit too early.
Elliot Collier, Lawrence Wooten checking in for Indy. Martinez and Sumoro come off. He knew it too, right away. Camera got a great shot of it, and he put his head in his hands. He knows he had the wall and the keeper beaten, but he also beat the post.
And the free kick hit taker, that location is prime, because now you can generate enough power to go up and over the wall, because when it's too close, it makes it really difficult to get that dipping motion on it.
Zeke Matthews will replace Ben Morris. Only the second sub made by Detroit City. Comes here in the 88th minute. Matthews on the season, 1 assist, hasn't scored. He's had a goal and an assist last year. Big-bodied forward who is good at holding the play up, letting the runners come off of him.
So you expect Detroit City to play a little bit more direct for the remainder of this game. Yet Matthews challenge for the initial ball and look down for secondary actions, whether to flick on or flick down. Into Casado, Maxi Rodriguez.
Or it could be a great time for his first goal of the season.
Yeah, there you go.
Final 2 minutes. Neidlinger cut off by Amumensa. Who's it off of last? It's off of Neidlinger. 90 seconds of the 90 minutes remain. Picked up by Lindley. Here's Collier. Now without any likes of Malik Foster, Douglas Martinez, or Augie Williams out there anymore for Indy, their method of attack changes so much. You're no longer relying on the speed and just the individual ability of those three players. Well, it's a lot different. You've got a target man in Collier. This is very much an 11 out there for Indy that has Sean McCauley thinking about just getting out of here with a point. Saw Collier pick up his head a moment ago when he first received that ball, but he had nowhere to go with it. Murphy. Stoppage time is brought to you by Brew Detroit, the official craft beer of Detroit City FC. 4 minutes tacked on. We'll see if it is 4, because Gerald Flores gave 3 minutes in the first half, and he blew the whistle at 2:20.
Keeping track?
I was very curious. He blew it early in the first half. I thought I missed something, but I double-checked and I did not, so. To be fair, I don't think anything was happening in those last 30 seconds of the first half, and the last 45 minutes have confirmed that. If this turns out to be a tie for Detroit City and you're sitting at home trying to do the math, they can still be caught on points by Loudoun, but tiebreaker has already been clinched by Indy, so that's why a tie here would still be enough to officially clinch a spot for Detroit City. Through the smoke on that far side. Amumensa. Is there one last crack at an opportunity in the final 2 minutes? Second half has seen 2 combined shots on target, 1 each for Detroit City and Indy 11. Casiedo, Villanueva. Alex Villanueva delivers. Casiedo couldn't get there, popped over the top. Amumensa to keep it alive. Jope. Good foot put in by Neidlinger, continues to impress. Cannot stress it enough. That is a 19-year-old who just signed his pro deal this week and made his first 11 appearances for Indy on an academy contract. conductor driving by. If that's the same train from earlier and he was looking to see a score update. Still 0-0, buddy. Still 0-0. Late change here. We'll see Salim come on for Williams. Brought to you by CVY. Indy 11 can still clinch a playoff spot by the day's end, depending on how results shake out elsewhere. Would need Hartford Athletic to drop points and Loudoun United to drop points. Detroit City in no hurry here to find one last opportunity. 4 minutes come and gone. If there's a winner, it's going to come at this end of the field. Cleared away by Indy. There's the final whistle. It finishes 0-0, but for Detroit City FC, it's 3 seasons in USL Championship. It's 3 playoff berths in USL Championship. The third-place team now inching closer and closer to the ultimate goal of having a home playoff game here at Keyworth.
If you're Sean McCall, you have to be really pleased with the results here. Back-to-back road matches. You take 4 from a possible 6. Danny Dicchio, like you mentioned, Joe, job well done getting into the playoffs. That was always going to be a priority once the season started. Well-deserved, Detroit City.
And they were really on top of things from the jump. They dominated possession. They never really were threatened by Indy 11, who just had one half-hearted shot on target. It finishes 0-0, but again, that's enough on the day for Detroit City FC to go ahead and clinch that playoff berth. Final score brought to you by DTE Energy, and we'll be back in just a moment to wrap things up from Keyworth, where it finishes 0-0 between Detroit City and Indy 11.
Hi, Dave from DTE here. Ooh, this dirty HVAC filter makes your system work a lot harder, and that costs money. But they're really easy to change. First, just check the edge of your current filter to see what size to buy. Then, just insert the new filter with the arrow facing toward the furnace. It's that easy. Energy bill savings. Get more tips on our website.
SeatGeek is the ticketing app for fans like the High Five Strangers guy. Game-winning interception. First down. Just a nice, solid tackle. If you're in arm's length, you will be swapping skin with this extrovert. You see, he knows SeatGeek got him a great deal on tickets, so he can focus on what he does best, smacking palms. SeatGeek handles the tickets to sports, concerts, and more, so fans can fan.
With Chevy Trucks, be ready for the Motor City. Visit ChevyDetroit.com.
Tonight's Man of the Match is brought to you by Volvo Construction and Alta Equipment Company, where uptime matters. It's Devin Amu-Mensah. Ricky, he just had a whale of a game on the back line. He was involved in so much, and on both ends, really. He had a couple of chances created in the attack, great on the defensive end, and he gets his flowers today.
Not easy to get a clean sheet against a team that scored 46 times in this season. Well-deserved from Devin Amu-Mensah, but Detroit City did have an opportunity to really put Hunter Solt under some pressure. Villanueva, Alexa Bendit with the in-swinger, but bit awkwardly from Solt in the initial save. But this is a world-class from Solt, how quickly he gets across his goal to parry it away from traffic to not give a secondary opportunity to Detroit City. That was most of what we saw in that first 45 minutes. As we push into the second half, quality for Indy 11. Douglas Martinez, you have Neidlinger. I thought he was fantastic, and this is our save of the match from Nate Steinwasser.
Brought to you by Ally. Whatever you're saving for, we're all better off with an Ally. Learn more at ally.com. It's the save of the match, and it's the only save of the match for Nate Steinwasser. Did not have anything to deal with. Plenty of opportunities, though, on the other side for Detroit City FC. The Tullamore Dew Irish Whiskey. When it's game time, it's Tully time. Shot of the match comes here.
Fantastic little insertion from James Murphy. It's a reverse ball. Really clever because everyone thinks he's going to pull the trigger. Ben Morris does just enough to get his hips around it. Gets denied by that near post, but notice how he takes that first touch negative to create a little bit of space, a little handoff to Gisedu because he's there as a body position facing the goal, and that is how we end 0-0
12 shots, 4 on target for Detroit City. Possession dominated. It never really felt like this was in doubt for Detroit City, but it also never really felt like they were going to score themselves.
I think if you're Danny Dicchio, that's the next step in the progression as the playoffs are around the corner. Can you find ways to break down when teams sit into a mid to low block? The ball needs to move quickly, you need to be more decisive and ruthless in that final third. And Sean McCall and Indy 11, they've shown that they can grind out results and be really difficult to break down. That's 2 games that they got a clean sheet, especially on the road. Watch out for this Indy 11 side.
Well, before we get into the brunt of tonight's action starting in the 7 o'clock hour, this is what the standings look like as we stand. Detroit City FC, the 3rd team to get the X next to their name in the East. Indy could have it happen later on, and we will see a lot of big matchups at the playoff line tonight, Ricky. That biggest one may be Pittsburgh Riverhounds against Charleston Battery.
Yeah, for Bob Lilly, must win as you host Charleston Battery. Fantastic and really crucial matchup in the Eastern Conference.
Well, this one to start the day in USL Championship finishes 0-0 between Detroit City and Indy 11. But for Detroit City, it's enough to clinch a playoff spot. 3 years in USL Championship, 3 playoff appearances in USL Championship. For the crew that makes this possible, my broadcast partner Ricky Lopez-Espin, I'm Joe Malva saying so long for now. You've got plenty more action coming the rest of today in the USL Championship. Stay tuned across ESPN Plus and the Golazo Network. Good night, everybody.
This copyrighted telecast of the United Soccer League Championship cannot be retransmitted, rebroadcast, or reproduced without the expressed written consent of the United Soccer League Championship.